Yeah,
I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on in this game. Then
the plot of the game is like Gandalf is talking to Gollum.
Yeah.
So like you're living Gollum's history.
But Mike, we're not
wait.
Mike, you hold that thought. You hold that question because we're not there yet. We're just going to jump right in and welcome everyone to the Pest Control Podcast, a show where a couple of best friends talk about the latest in video games and nerd culture. Sometimes we have guests. Sometimes Todd doesn't show up. Either way, we have a new episode for you each and every week. As always, I'm your host, Brenden Dom, and joining me on this lovely Friday evening is the anime senpai himself, the befuddled... I don't know. I got nothing. I was trying to think of another B word, but also tied to Lord of the Rings, and I couldn't do it. So the befuddled Balrog. I don't fucking know. Michael is here. Mike, how are you doing tonight?
That works. Befuddled was the word I was thinking in my head. I'm like, I am befuddled.
You are. Your expression for audio listeners, you're driving in your car. If you want to picture Mike right now, Mike looks befuddled. Like that is exactly how Mike looks right now.
In the dictionary, that's what they'd put that picture there if they need a picture for befuddled. I don't know why you would need a picture for befuddled most of the time, but
well, now you know. Now it's crystal clear. How you doing tonight, Mike? Yeah. Aside from the conversation we were just having off air, how are you doing?
Crushing it.
Okay. And then rounding us out tonight, of course, the Disney daddy himself, Dominic 40 Dom. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic.
We love to hear it. We love to see it. So we'll run through housekeeping real quick, and then we'll just get right into tonight's episode. A quick breezy one for you tonight. Down a man, starting late. It's Friday, long week. We'll get there. PTC Movie Club, which you may have been expecting to be tonight's episode, is not tonight's episode because we're a week behind. We're going to push that 1 week. Going into June, though, that'll reset, and we'll be back on track to hit those dates accordingly. Presumably. We're not going to make any promises. But you got 1 more week to watch Manchester by the Sea if you have not watched that. I want to listen to us talk about that live and or the week that episode airs. So you get another week in the tank, since you were also a week late to getting that movie pick. So there you go. Mike, you're next, right, on movie picks? What's the order?
God, no.
Dom is next. So I don't know I don't want to put you on the spot, Dom. If you have your pick and want to drop it now, so people aren't playing catch up with us, feel free. Or if not, just have it loaded in the tank for next week, so that way we can.
Yeah, I'll have it ready to go for next week.
Okay, cool. You have some stuff you're debating between. You want to throw some ideas out there, get the juices flowing.
You probably don't want me to pick right now, so
okay, all right, that's fair. That I'll take the hint. So Dom will drop his June pick next week. We'll also drop that Manchester by the Sea episode next week as well. So if you're looking forward to that, I apologize that we are a week late on that, but we should be back on schedule going forward for the time being, at least. A couple other housekeeping things, of course. I haven't fully finished uploading it, or it's uploaded. I just need to do some other things to edit it up. But I played through the first hour of The Lord of the Rings Gollum on Twitch earlier today, and that will be up later on our YouTube channel. We'll definitely talk about this game a little bit more in just a few moments, so you can, skip ahead if you don't want to hear more housekeeping. Other than that, I think I definitely had more housekeeping, and now I don't know what that was. Well, we got on June 10th, kicking off our 12-hour live stream for MG. Make sure to check that out. I don't want to put either of you on the spot, but obviously, if you want to come by that day, the door is open. We can get the band back together potentially. You know what I'm saying? I know it's a different level of travel requirement per person, so there are other factors in the way. But if either of you, and I think Todd said he might come by, but I don't know. It's Todd. Todd's not here right now, so not a good look to say, yeah, maybe I'll come by and then not show up to the podcast. I knew Todd wasn't coming tonight, so but that's besides the point. But yeah, if either of you want to show up, we can get the band back together, or do other shit. But regardless, either way, I will be streaming for 12 hours on Saturday, June 10th, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern, running until 10 p.m. Eastern. We've already got some donations in the tank. you can start donating now. If you don't follow us on social media, you should change that. But if you don't follow us on social media and haven't seen the donation link, you can just reach out to us and I will get you that donation link. If you just engage with us by listening to us on your podcast feed and you need to find a way to donate, if I remember, if I'm a good person, I will post that link in the description to the podcast. But in case I don't do that, just reach out or find us on social media and you'll find that link. If we hit, so the way that they were handling the MG stuff this year is a little bit different. Normally we start a new campaign every year and it's one big thing that we push along throughout the year. The way that the organization, the MGFA, is handling it is a little bit different this year, so we might have multiple campaigns throughout the year. The first one is a starting now, which is not actually June yet, but starting now and running until the end of June is when this campaign runs, and then it will reset for the year again. So we'll have probably a few other things later in the year instead of one continuous thing. But the theme of the show, we'll get to Gollum soon. You know, there might be opportunities for you to make me play shit I don't actually want to play, like Lord of the Rings Gollum. So maybe tune in. Maybe throw some bucks. You don't got bucks to throw? Maybe share it on social media so other people with bucks can toss some bucks on in to the, to the charity pool and make me do shit I really don't want to fucking do. I have a tendency...
Everybody knows how much Brennan hates horror games. I bought all the Five Nights at Freddy's games.
He really did. So if you want to make me play Five Nights at fucking Freddy's, maybe there's some opportunities to do that. I have a tendency lately in these last few charity years to play things that I don't actually want to play, like a Balan Wonderworld, like a Babylon's Fall, like Sonic Forces. Sonic Forces being the least offender out of those, but I finished all 3 of those games. Am I a better person for it? No. I'm actively a worse person because of those things. So if you want to add to that list of how can we slowly hurt this person's overall mental health, you can donate to a good cause that is also a bad cause for me personally, because I don't want to play these games, but I will do it for you. So there's that. Anyways, I think that's all I got for housekeeping. Of course, this episode sponsored by our good friends at Goodnight Fatty from the Salem, Massachusetts, or the North Shore of Massachusetts on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you want yourself something hot, something sweet, something tasty, something fresh out of the oven, look no further than Goodnight Fatty. You can head on down to 1 Washington Square and get yourself a delicious fatty from 10 to 11 to 11. Mike, I'm going to keep looking at you because I don't actually know. I should probably do my research. Research.
That makes sense.
The problem is Goodnight Fatty's been a long-time supporter of us. You know what I mean? Which is not a problem. It's great. We love them. We love Goodnight Fatty. But the problem is this like ad read is so ingrained in my brain. I'm not reading off of a teleprompter or a piece of paper or my notes. It's just in my head. So I'm just regurgitating the thing that is so embedded in my brain. So they have extended hours now. They are open during the day on Friday and Saturday. And of course they're open Sundays if you want to get yourself a chubby. If you don't know what any of those things are, you need to go on Instagram at Goodnight Fatty and at Good Morning Chubby. Educate yourself on these delicious treats. I promise you will not regret it. If you head on down to 1 Washington Square, let them know Pass the Controller sent you. You'll get a wink, you'll get a nod, you'll get a hug, you'll get a high five, you'll get something. You'll get something. I don't know what, but you will get something. Or maybe they'll go, what the fuck are you talking about? But either way, they have delicious treats for you. So head on down.
Maybe you should write something down. Maybe
I should update this.
Maybe winging it isn't your forte.
You know who is the forte, though? I don't know.
I'll let you finish that.
Other guy on the podcast.
Oh, again, the ad-libbing's just not your thing.
You know what? I resent you for that, but I also don't. But I also do. I see that you're wearing a Uniqlo Mario shirt?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Did you get any of the Dragon Ball ones? Because they're fucking all sold out.
No. As a matter of fact, I knew they were coming out, but I think if I looked at the pictures of them, I didn't care for any of them particularly.
Yeah, they were.
I'm happy with my Yamcha shirt.
Okay. Uniqlo, if you're listening, we're not sponsored by Uniqlo. You want to throw us a couple of Uniqlo sponsorships? We're here. We're here for that. The ones that I would have purchased which maybe were one or two. They were at least out of my size, but they were out of most sizes. Are you
I'm like a medium,
Yeah, so
Medium.
they might have sizes still left
extra medium.
In your
My size.
I believe
Wow.
the technical term is schmedium, Mike. But I think they have some of your sizes left, but extra large, which is what I typically go for, was mostly sold out. They're
Apparently,
okay. They weren't my
the
favorite.
URL was still in my like autofill, which is weird. But
Mm-hmm. The one I still like from the last Dragon Ball batch, I have the black shirt that's just like a small little square or rectangle in the corner. That's just, what does the scouter say in Japanese?
oh yeah,
That's like,
let's get one.
I think that's one of the better shirts they've done for some of these collabs. Anyways, that will wrap up housekeeping. But before we get into some of tonight's bigger topics, being Lord of the Rings, Gollum, and kind of rolling through the PlayStation showcase, I figure, we just touch base real quick. Nothing crazy, nothing spoilery. Unless we want to get into spoilers, we can do that. We can just, do that up front. But let's pop into, open up that journal and write down some Zel-Diaries entries here. How are you progressing along in Tears of the Kingdom, Dom?
I opened the whole map. Well, I opened 2/3 of the map, I guess.
Have you ventured below?
I did a couple. I opened a couple of the
Depths.
light blooms.
I don't know.
What they're called?
I've been calling them beacons. I don't know what they are called actually.
I think they have an actual name. I can't remember what the actual name
They
is.
probably do have an actual name. I mean, so I guess if you don't want us to spoiler tag, we're gonna talk about the 3 areas of the game. We probably won't talk about spoiler story specific stuff, but we're gonna talk about the full breadth of where this game goes. So if that's something you don't want to know at this point, then skip ahead a little bit. So that's what I was alluding to last week, Dom, is the depths. When I discovered the depths, there were days where I spent all of my time in the game just exploring down there, and exploring in a dumb way where you can attach light blooms to arrows or other things and light it up. I'm running around in the dark and just going fucking buck wild looking for beacons. I did find at one point a set of armor. I only have the chest piece. I'm assuming that there is a headpiece and legs to go with it that would probably expand the performance of this piece of armor. But I came across a piece of armor that has light bulbs all over it, so it can shine around you.
Okay.
So I was using that a lot more. I have a lot of that map open, but I probably still have at least half of it to still open on the bottom.
Yeah, I haven't really gone down there that much. I've been doing that Impa quest that we were talking about briefly last week.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm probably halfway done with that now.
Nice. Yeah, I'm curious to see when you finish that quest line. Text me. I don't care if it's late or early or whatever it is. I'm curious where your head's at when you finish that quest line, because that's what's kind of, so my progress this past week has been primarily main quest stuff, because after I had finished that Impa quest line, I was like, I need to know more of what is happening in this game now. I don't want to say it left me with more questions than answers, but I feel like it might have left me with more questions than answers. Not in a negative way, just more of okay, this is showing me something and telling me something, but I fucking need to know what is happening now. So it's kind of pushed me to focus a little bit more on some of the other main quests. I'm still doing a lot of side stuff. I'm getting sidetracked constantly and doing other things, but I have the sky and the surface area also fully open at this point, so I've been going in the depths less. I pretty much, at least right now, have been only going in the depths if I come across a new pit that I haven't dropped down in. I'll pop down, try to open a beacon, and then I'll just go back up and go about what I was doing. But yeah, I don't know how much more quote unquote main story stuff I have left, because I don't know how far these quest lines I'm on go story wise. So I probably won't initiate what would be considered like the end mission. I don't think I'm near there yet, but I probably won't go towards that just yet. But I do kind of want to get closer to that point, and then go back to doing some other side stuff, because there's a lot of side missions in this game. Like I've been getting sidetracked in a lot of the areas that I've come across where it's like, there are a bunch of people that have other random quests going on, and I find myself undertaking them whenever I get there. But that's kind of where I've been for the most part. So you've opened the map and you've just been still doing side stuff, or and as well as the Impa stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I was. I mean, obviously, whenever I came across a shrine, I was opening it, but
I will. I don't know if this is like a spoiler to say this, but the beacons underneath in the depths, they correlate to the shrines up top. I don't know if there's like a deeper reasoning to that, but that is where they are on the map. I didn't realize that. Todd pointed it out to me because I believe the beacons underground are the shrine name backwards.
Oh. I mean, I didn't notice that yet.
I didn't notice it until Todd had said it to me. So I don't know if there's like anything deeper than that other than just like, I don't know, we'll fucking flip it around because we're underground. The upside down, I guess. I don't know. The depths is fun though, like especially knowing that you haven't spent a lot of time down there. I have spent so much time down there, and I've opened up such a large portion of that map at this point, but I still feel like I haven't really discovered a lot of things down there, and I know there's more to do down there. I have found a lot of cool armor sets down there, so there's at least that too. So if you're looking for some varied things, there's some cool stuff down there. My word of advice to you is if you see Poes down there, collect them every chance you get. That'll be
I'm definitely over 100 already.
Okay. I would be, anytime you see pockets of those, I would go for them, because there are reasons worth collecting those, and I'll just leave it at that. Cool. Mike, where are you at in Tears of the Kingdom?
I already, bro. Let me tell you, I just got the paraglider for the second time.
Okay.
And then I stopped.
Okay. Did you lose your first paraglider, or why did you get it a second time?
It broke.
Oh,
these things just break on me.
Mike hates weapon decoration. It's his least favorite thing.
It's a terrible mechanic. Mm-hmm. Like if I got a fucking cool weapon, let me use a cool weapon. What do you mean the Master Sword broke? It's the Master Sword. It shouldn't break.
Well, it doesn't break, Mike. It just needs to recharge. It just needs to get its mojo back.
Oh, it's got fucking needs a refraction period. Okay. Game sucks.
You know what I discovered this past week?
Hit me with it.
Tears of the Kingdom. The abbreviation is TOTK, which is also the abbreviation for the sequel to the Garfield film.
Oh,
A Tale of Two Kitties.
Oh shit!
You know what that means?
Oh shit! Game of the year.
Well, think about this. Garfield, lasagna. Lasagna has layers. Tears of the Kingdom. Depths, surface, sky. It's got layers, Mike. There's layers to this.
And Link hates Mondays.
And Link fucking hates Mondays.
Famously hates Mondays.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Always sleeping. Didn't they wake him up at the beginning of the game like, hey, bro, you've been asleep again? Like,
when the week resets, Mike, when Monday rolls around, the blood moon rises. I don't actually know if that's how that works, but I'm adding nonsense to the flame.
That's what people tune in for us to compare Link to Garfield.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, we're like I would argue we're the number one Garfield podcast. Like, I don't want to like make things up. I don't want to like lie on the internet. You know what I mean? I don't
definitely don't, because I kind of want to look it up, and I'm sure I will find somebody who's gone deep into Garfield.
Listen, if there isn't a Garfield deep dive podcast, then we need to start a second podcast. Please look it up, Mike. Go find this out right now. Because if there is not, I don't want someone to listen to this episode and then go, fuck, we're starting a Garfield podcast before we do, because we got to be the leader in that category. Like, we need to be like, I don't know.
Hungry Cat Daily, a Garfield recap podcast.
How many episodes of Garfield exist? Like, how many episodes could you be doing? Like, I feel like Garfield's got a long run, right?
Garfcast, the Garfield podcast. A lot of stuff about Andrew Garfield that I'm like not interested in right now.
Maybe that's our angle. Maybe we do an Andrew Garfield podcast, and we get Andrew Garfield to come on every episode as a special guest.
There,
Garfing around, you know? Garf Brooks.
Okay.
Please cut me off, yeah.
I'm trying to. How much BoJack Horseman did you watch? Do you watch?
Not as much as I should. How many seasons did that show?
5 or 6, I think.
I want to say I probably watched at least 3. I should really go back and finish that show at some point.
It was a good show. Anyway, they had a bit where
did you watch that show? Sorry,
I did not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
They had a bit that I learned about recently because there's a lot of good jokes on that show that almost none of them stuck in my head, but it was a good show. They had a bit where I think they did want Andrew Garfield to like voice a character, like voice himself in the show, and he didn't do it. So they had Andrew Garfield show up in the show, but they just gave him all of Garfield's characteristics. Like he just hates Mondays and loves lasagna. That's
kind of incredible.
All right. Do I subscribe to this Garfield podcast?
I mean, you probably should do some research.
Yeah.
You should be the Garfield scholar of the group. Dom likes to
Jesus
pretend.
Christ.
Dom likes to pretend like he's the Garfield guy, but we know, Mike, we know.
Yeah, he's a poser.
So yeah, that'll do it for this week's Zel-Diaries. We won't do Zel-Diaries for forever, but I mean, we're still playing this game. I've put like 70 hours at this point, so I mean, I got at least probably another 10 to 20 finishing the game itself, let alone how much side stuff I continue to do after the fact. Because that's the other thing. That's like the weird, not line in the sand I am like theoretically drawing for myself, but I feel like once I complete the full game, I'm going to feel less compelled to spend time dicking around in there, which is why I held off on finishing. Like, I did the Divine Beasts, any other main missions, like, I was good to go in Breath of the Wild, and I stopped myself from going to fight Calamity Ganon because I was like, I kind of want to spend more time looking for shrines and doing other side stuff, because I know once I go and finish that game, I was going to be less inclined to be jumping back in to do other stuff. So I kind of want to continue to do other stuff until I feel like, all right, now I go do this thing. But I want to get to that point where I can like make that choice, where it's like, all right, I know this is probably pushing, we're on the path to the end of the game. Let's dissipate and do as we please until that point. Cool. Anyways, before we jump into Gollum, though, I will say I did get sent a code for the Case of the Golden Idol on Switch, which is new to Switch. It came out yesterday on the Switch, but it's been out since last fall on PC. It's been something kind of on my radar. I don't know. I feel like this game might speak to you, Mike. Are you familiar with this game, The Case of the Golden Idol?
I don't think so.
So it's like a detective murder mystery game that is like, it's point and click, but it's supposedly like very it's like a very smart like mystery revolving around some murders. So it was kind of on my list for a while. I've known a few friends of the show who have played it, and they were playing it in Discord, and I had to like remove myself because I'm like, this looks like I might enjoy this, so I don't want to watch them play it because I'd rather play it myself. And part of me was like, I feel like this might come to Switch at some point, but that's not why I was not playing it. I was just like, I don't have time right now. So it was on my Steam wish list, and then it got announced for Switch, and then got sent a code. So now I'm going to bump that up my priority list and bang that out soon. So you can look forward to I will probably either stream some of it, or I might just play. I'm actually trying to see if Jen will play through it with me because I think she would enjoy it at least like as a bystander, take part in like figuring the mystery out. So we'll see. I'll do something with it. But at the bare minimum, we'll chat about it soon on the podcast when I get a chance to actually sit down and play it because I have not done that yet. Got the code a couple days ago. So, anyways. But that'll bring us. Well, before we get into Gollum, have you been playing anything else, Mike, other than the normal stuff? Okay. So, the Lord of the Rings. You may have heard of these books. You may have heard of these movies. You may have heard of, I don't know,
TV show, Amazon.
TV show on Amazon, which I still fucking want to watch. I know it had mixed reception, but I do like Lord of the Rings, and I heard that the show is called Rings of Power, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
That later in that season, it got better. Like, I think the first couple episodes were a little slow, maybe.
I heard some people say that the game Gollum is better than the show.
There's no fucking way. There's absolutely no way. Like, I believe you people said that, but there's no fucking way that that's actually true because... As we'll get into in a second, Dom and I have had the chance to play a little bit of the game. We haven't played enough to like give our full opinion on the game, but as I said,
I can't give story impressions. I guess I can't imagine that any of the gameplay or anything else changes. So,
and I think that's the most important thing. Like whether or not the story gets more intriguing or enticing. I mean, I was thinking about this a lot in the shower. I think we might have brought this up at some point, maybe about Star Wars on the podcast, or maybe we just talked about playing Fortnite or something. I'm not saying, or maybe I didn't talk about. I don't know. I talked about it with somebody. It could have been in Discord with the other friends of the show, but it's not that I don't want games, movies, TV shows that take place in a popular franchise that are set within a time period where we already know the before and after. You know what I mean? Like Solo is a good example. I enjoyed that movie. I think it has its faults. But there are portions of that where it's like, okay, I can't when Han and Chewie are in sticky situations, I know they don't die. So it's hard for me to just suspend my disbelief of like this specific thing doesn't do anything for me because I know that they do not die or lose an arm or whatever it may be because we know that character's story further already. So I'm not like saying I don't want those things, even though Star Wars might be the worst example of what I'm trying to say because I feel like Star Wars is currently just ever living in this. We're going to continue to put things out in this same sliver of time period where we already know like broad stroke things. Or if we're focused on characters that are already in these things before and after, we know how their timeline plays out.
Rogue One is probably one of my favorite Star Wars films, and we know how that movie ends.
And that's
going into it.
And that's a great example of like
Andor is a show that everyone seems to love. Like everything about, and we know how that show ends.
Did you know going into episodes 1, 2, and 3 that Anakin Skywalker turned into Darth Vader?
We knew literally everything that came out of 1,
were
2,
those movies good, Mike? I don't know. Are we going to bat for those movies right now? Is that what we're doing?
I mean, if you've got the time.
I do at some point. We don't need to make it a movie club thing, but at some point, whoever is on board for this, we should probably do like a prequel rewatch because I have not rewatched those films since they came out. And I would like to rewatch them as an adult and,
this is where the fun begins.
Chat about them. So if, I feel like the two of you are on board. Todd, I don't know, but I feel like the two of you would be on board with that at some point. But those are like good examples of existing in that like not predetermined timeline, but like stuff we already know like outcomes of where you can do good stuff in that. But I also want stuff outside of that. Like, and that's where I think this Gollum game kind of comes into the conversation here, where it's like, okay, we're taking a character that, if you read the books, if you read the Hobbit books, if you read the Lord of the Ring books, if you watch the movies, you know a lot of Gollum's story. So is the story of this game going to be what pulls you along? I don't know. You tell me, Dom.
I don't know. The other problem is that I am still confused as to where this game takes place. Because,
yes.
Okay, so like I said at the beginning of the podcast, the game opens with Gollum in a elven jail cell, and Gandalf walks in and says, "What, you talked to him, didn't you?" Referencing Sauron. He then says, "What did you tell him?" And Gollum reveals that he told him that Bilbo has the ring. Bilbo has the ring.
Okay. So this takes place between The Hobbit and
Apparently
Lord of the
it takes place... Yeah. Gollum is like full Gollum already. I guess Gollum was full Gollum when Bilbo first encountered him, right?
Yeah.
Gollum has had the ring taken from him, gone to Mordor, and the adventures that you're like on in this game are like those adventures. But like, there's enough time that he's like gone through this stuff, been captured, and Gandalf is like talking to him, but Bilbo still has the ring.
Okay. Bilbo should... And am I to assume at the end of this, they just drop Gollum off back in his cave?
I don't know. Maybe he sneaks out.
Well, that's the thing is
that's the final act of the game. You have to break out the elven jail.
Well, Mike, in the beginning of the game, you are not in the jail anymore. You're in Mordor.
The beginning of the game is you reliving the story for Gandalf.
Yeah.
But my point was going to be that you say that the final act is you sneaking out. That's the game.
Sneaking is the game. Yeah.
You're Gollum. Sneaking is the game.
Gollum had maybe one kind of fair fight, and that was against other hobbits. And like that's
which I don't even know if hobbits are in this game. But that's
Gollum's in the game.
Yeah. Oh, I guess
Gollum. I don't think Gollum was a hobbit, right? He was like another.
Wasn't Smeagol a hobbit?
I think Smeagol was something similar to a hobbit, but not the same thing.
Was he?
I could be wrong.
Was he whatever like Aragorn's race was, like whatever the human is? Or
no, he was closer to a hobbit than he was to human.
Okay.
If he was not a hobbit, he was something close to a hobbit. I guess
Gotcha.
He was like a halfling of some sort. I thought he was a hobbit. Like he has the big feet. Like I thought Smeagol was a hobbit. I guess I could be wrong.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh no, I think he is a hobbit. Okay.
But
I could have sworn he was something else.
Like, and again, I'm not someone who has read the books, but I do love and enjoy the movies. Well, not the Hobbit movies, but I also never seen the Hobbit movies, but they just don't look interesting to me. But as someone who enjoys the book, like Gollum in the someone who enjoys the movies. Gollum in the movies is an interesting character to me. I like kind of Gollum's plight. I'm sure there are a lot of things that Gollum can stand for in like comparison to life in general. You know, I always drew, which I don't know if this is what the book or movies are supposed to be, but I always drew like Gollum as a person that struggles with addiction is like kind of what I attributed him in the ring to a little bit. Maybe that's not fully what the metaphor is there, but
corruption.
Corruption. But and obviously Andy Serkis did fucking wonders with that role in those movies, which is another reason where I think makes that character such a memorable character. I don't know anyone that's experienced Lord of the Rings is just the books or the books first, and if that person is, Gollum is one of my favorite characters. I have no fucking idea. So this is like off the bat, we got a game focused on a character that has a limited set of gameplay abilities. Like, we're already putting ourselves into a character that is going to have like a limited selection of what a game can be. And
it would essentially be like Lucasfilms coming out and being like, we're making a new game. This game you play as C-3PO.
I was literally going to say, yeah, like if you're playing a new Star Wars game, but you're playing as C-3PO, where it's like, cool, we're in this world.
You don't get to be R2-D2. You get
No. I intentionally left R2 out because he could have an interesting game.
Do you translate for this?
I don't know. You could make a fun, interesting game off C-3PO, and I think you could make a fun, interesting game off of Gollum. So far, I don't expect my experience with this game to change in any meaningful way, but so far, it's not a good game. When I was playing it, out loud I said, okay, so let me get this straight. Once I got to the first sneaking section with the orcs, or the Uruk-hai, or whatever they are, I don't know. I think they're orcs. Once I got to that first sneaking section, I was like, all right, perfect. So you're telling me we're going to take two of the game mechanics that in any other game, in my opinion, are usually some of the worst things about that game. Climbing and fucking sneaking. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are the exception with climbing because there's literally nothing for the most part that you can't climb on. Where any other game, take great games like God of War, Reboot, or Ragnarok, those climbing sections to me are so fucking stupid and boring because it's just climbing in a linear path. And I get that in some of those segments, it's maybe to help the game load, or maybe it's because they want to have Kratos and Atreus have like, or Mimir too, have like talking segments that are story narrative based and interesting. I get it. I still don't know if I want as much of it, but I get it. It's kind of the same thing with Uncharted. I've only played the first Uncharted game, but I would imagine all of the Uncharted games have fucking climbing segments that are not like climb wherever you want. It's no, climb slowly in a linear path. So this game, so far, is climb slow in a fucking linear path and sneak slow in fucking grass. And none of that is fun. Like, strip the story away, which, again, so far, story, to me personally, not that interesting. What do we have here? What do we got? Throw a rock. I threw a rock one time. That is the one time I've done something else. I've thrown a rock.
Well, you haven't gone as far as me because I've thrown 5 rocks.
Ooh.
Well, I have gotten to the point of collecting the dead people's totems or whatever, tokens, or whatever the fuck they are. That is the most I have done.
Yeah, I also didn't really understand that. So you get enslaved in Mordor, and they give you a tag, and they're like, you need to hold on to this. This is your slave tag.
That shouldn't be my responsibility.
Yeah, I don't really understand it.
Yeah, for what? What's the purpose of that? But then,
because you have to go pick up the other slave tags.
So
they literally told you that so that you could go pick up other people's slave tags.
So and again, it's still early in the game. I've only played about an hour, but I don't expect the game to change much more outside of what it has already asked me to do.
I have probably played.
You cannot really attack any enemies because you're fucking Gollum. Like
I have probably played twice as much as you. There is more sneaking, and at the section that I'm in right now, all of the enemies are wearing helmets, and as soon as you enter the area, it says Gollum cannot attack enemies that are wearing helmets.
So I have a quick question.
Literally, as soon as you enter the area, it says Gollum cannot attack enemies that are wearing helmets, and they're all wearing the fucking Planet of the Apes reboot helmets.
I have a quick question. So this is a game primarily based on sneaking. It's no Sneak King per se, but it's a game primarily based off of like quote unquote stealth, right? Because you're not trying to do combat. But this takes place after Gollum has lost the ring, which would have granted him some level of invisibility.
Correct.
Okay. I just wanted.
But he is still very nervous that the eye is watching him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That makes sense, of course. But you definitely don't want to be wearing it all the time. I would think that would make like I think that would be like another mechanic to throw into the game to kind of be like, all right, if you want to use this, but it's gonna, I don't know, the eye, Sauron, magic. I don't know.
So
Bring rates.
this game, the thing that I want out of a Gollum game is the internal monologue. I want the Smeagol versus Gollum like internal monologue to like be something important. Like that is a huge part of his character, is that he has like this struggle of like who is going to survive, the Gollum that has been torn down by the ring, or Smeagol that is still like fighting to like, I didn't really kill my brother yet, like just fighting to survive in there. It like is there, but like isn't very interesting. Like that's the one thing that I feel like a Gollum game could give us, and it like isn't doing it for me.
Yeah, I mean, I am
the one thing that
begrudgingly playing this right now.
Yeah, the one thing that this game, I will try to complete this game. I just because I want to give it a chance.
I will definitely play more of it.
You want to find out what happens to Gollum, right? I don't.
Is he gonna make it?
I don't know. You never know. I will definitely play more of it. I don't know if I will finish this game.
I did think that there's an achievement in the game where there's like the part that you're in where you have to collect the tags. There's lava, and if you fall into the lava, the achievement is wait, not yet. Because
it's a good achievement.
Yeah.
Because story-wise, he like needs to fall into lava, just not until the end of Lord of the Rings.
I was gonna actually pick. Spoiler: we're gonna play Answer Unlocked tonight, and I was gonna pick this game, and I was reading through achievements, and I was like, it's too obvious what this game is.
Yeah.
I looked through all the achievements, but they are like they have a lot of pretty like cleverly named achievements, I would say, in this game.
So I had said this, I think,
it's one of the best things about the game.
I think I said this before we started recording, but like I went into this game knowing that everyone hated it, and I was like, all right, the one thing that I want to do is I want to find one thing that I like about this game, and the one thing that I could find is that it has achievements.
It has achievements. I like, again, it's still early, but I so far don't expect my opinion to change too much. I'll definitely play more of this game to see if it can change my opinion at all. But as at the top of the show I had mentioned, I historically, kind of find some sort of weird sicko enjoyment out of playing games that people, overall say are bad games, like Balan Wonderworld, which I have finished, Babylon's Fall, which I have finished, something I would personally call bad, like Sonic Forces. I don't think it's probably, reviewed that highly, but, there are a lot of Sonic sickos out there, more than the other two games at least. And I hate to say this, and again, it could change, because Balan Wonderworld is a real fucking low bar of a game, in my opinion. Babylon's Fall, I think, has some promise in there. It has some stuff in there. It's still not a good game. Well, yeah, it had. But if Gollum doesn't do anything soon to really up the fucking ante with me at all, it's probably worse than Balan Wonderworld, and will probably take the worst game that I have personally ever played. Aside from like old retro game that is just not a good game because game design bad in the fucking 70s, 80s, 90s.
I read earlier that Gollum got pushed so that they could work on the game. I don't know what they were working on.
I don't want to know what the version before this was.
I don't. The one thing that this game has going for me is that it has reminded me that I wanted to play Shadow of Mordor. Because I never played it, and I want a good Lord of the Rings game, since the last good Lord of the Rings game I played was Return of the King for the GameCube.
It was super cheap on Steam. I think I bought it recently.
I think I have it for something, but I need to double check.
Return of the King. I played Two Towers on GameCube. Those games, fucking fantastic. Those games are great. They're pretty much just playing the movie, but they were fun. They were just fun action games. They were real fucking fun. I don't know how they hold up now. I'd say they're still probably better than Gollum. I haven't really played. I played like.
I can't look worse than Gollum.
Yeah, I haven't played enough to really say anything about Shadow of Mordor, but I know people love that game. I know that game.
It's got a revolutionary.
The Nemesis
the
system?
Nemesis system. I mean,
it sucks that they like trademarked it and like it's stuck.
Never
to
used
those,
it again.
It's stuck to those games, but
I mean, they'll probably make
it would be
at some point.
They've made 2, right?
Yeah, they made 2. I forget what the first one's called. Shadow of Mordor, I think, is the second one. I forget what the first one was called.
Was Shadow of Mordor not the first one?
I think there's something. I think they're both of Mordor.
I've got. So wait, what's Shadow of War? Where did
we got Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor. I don't know which was the first one.
Yeah, it would be It would be cool to see that Nemesis
Shadow
system
of Mordor
used.
was the first one. Shadow of War is the second one.
It'd be interesting to see the Nemesis system like used in a different style game, but
it's Warner Brothers, right? So I mean, they could. Did they use a version of it in any of the Arkham games or no?
I don't think so.
No, I from what I understand, they literally never used it ever again. Everyone loved the Nemesis system, and then like, I'm just like, nah, we're not gonna ever use it.
Weird, yeah. I mean, especially being under Warner Brothers, I feel like it'd make sense for them to roll that into any of the Batman games at some point. I feel like you could make that work somehow, but I don't know. What do I know? But yeah, I mean, we've done a lot of fucking dogpiling, and I think partially rightfully so. I mean, the Gollum game is not that great. We're not getting off on talking shit about a game. I mean, I don't even think I personally don't think that anyone who makes games is out there trying to make a bad game. I think people just sometimes make bad games. This is unfortunately one of those games. I hope that I find something in there that pulls me along and makes me enjoy something about it. But as of right now, it's pretty rough.
As of this episode, I cannot encourage anyone to spend money on this game.
I definitely wouldn't. Yeah.
And even if it was on Game Pass, I don't know that I would encourage anyone to use their time on this game.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if this game ends up on Game Pass, which maybe it should at this point, just to like try to get more people to try it out, check it out. You know, Game Pass I think is great because you pop it in. If it's not working, you just uninstall it and do something else. But I still don't. I agree with Dom. I don't even think it's worth that.
My problem is that like, all right, I downloaded it on Game Pass and I play the first hour. We've played the first hour. It's not worth spending any more time on.
No, I don't think so.
So like if I get farther into this game and like it drastically changes, like Atomic Heart is one of those games where like you play the first hour and you're like, this game is a drag. I beat the game and I will say that it definitely got better as it went. Yeah. That is a game that I will tell people, like, if you have the time investment, like download it on Game Pass and get through the slog at the beginning.
Yeah.
As of this point, I cannot tell people to do that with Gollum.
Yeah, Gollum is, for all intents and purposes, with me right now, is not a good game. Like, even to the point I'm at, which again is I played for about an hour. When I was collecting those tags off of the dead people, it's like, so far this game hasn't done anything compelling that has made me feel like I'm enjoying myself or giving me a reason to want to keep playing. And even when you get to that point where I feel like at this point the game has already showed me all of the overall mechanics of what this game is going to be. You are going to climb. You are going to sneak. You're going to maybe sometimes throw rocks. You're going to maybe sometimes eat worms to fucking fill your health. And you're going to sometimes get decisions and or dialogue choices to make. I don't know how much that's going to impact the full game. Again, this is a character that we know how their overall trajectory plays out, so it's not like you can make decisions that alter the end of this game, I would imagine. So I don't really know how those decision-making things really play into this full game. But when I got to that mission where I was collecting those tags, it was I think you had to collect 8 of them, and it was literally, here's the next waypoint. Go to this waypoint to collect the thing, which I appreciated because I don't want to roam around in this game. I really just want to be done with my time. I don't want to continue to play this, to be honest. But at that point, if
you can just use Gollum sense and see where everything is.
he has that too.
That is a mechanic in the game. Gollum sense.
He's a detective vision.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. You tap the button and you see like all of the things that you need in the game. Like all of the points in the game like light up in a different color.
Now there's the best thing added to video games, detective vision, and giving them to like nobody who needs it.
Yeah.
Or people that shouldn't even have it. Like why does Gollum have it? So I guess the overall point I'm trying to hit right here is that like the gameplay itself is not fun and engaging in a meaningful way for me right now. If this mission is just follow to next waypoint, follow linear path to go do this thing, almost ask the question, what is the point? Like, what are we doing at this point? If it's just walk to this next thing, climb up this thing, go down this ladder, don't fall in lava, pick up a coin, go back to story cutscene, I just don't understand what...
Are there any puzzles? Do you have to solve things?
I'm sure there are probably some puzzle elements later. I don't feel like there have been a lot of that type of gameplay now. There might be. I mean, one of the things you had to do was like trap some animal type creature in a cage. I don't think that was like a put on my thinking cap, how do I complete this task? It was just go over to this thing.
You run straight and there's a ladder in the back.
Yeah, I can't imagine that the game... Listen, sometimes game tutorials are weird and crappy and almost like, who is this for? And that's kind of like, okay, we've played a bajillion video games. We're used to video games. For young gamers or new gamers or people who don't play a lot of games, that stuff might actually be beneficial and helpful. But an hour in, I'm somewhere in towards, I'm assuming the end of chapter 2. Nothing has really engaged me in a critical way or an intelligent way.
You're just collecting dog tags?
I've already completed that part. I've gone back and slept. So it's day 2, but it's still chapter 2.
Yeah, you're I don't even think you're halfway yet.
Great.
I've done at least and go to sleep.
Yes.
Yeah, like what's the point? What are we doing? There's also a point in between where it's like, oh, they're gonna I go wait in line with the other people.
Line.
And it makes you wait in line. It makes
that was one of the objectives. It doesn't make you wait in line. It makes you go to a waypoint and then it starts a cutscene.
No, you have to walk in that point, but you can't walk until the other people go through the line.
Oh, I didn't push any buttons. It just moved me.
When you got to the front of the line, I had to walk up to the next orc, who then told me I was not going to be killed. I could go forward. When they according to the game, judging if this person was useless or useful, and they deemed Gollum useful. Not throw this dude in the lava. I don't know. The game is not great, and I don't take joy in saying that, but it is not a great time.
Too bad I'm installing it right now.
Dom and I, listen, I cannot, I absolutely, I will firmly put my foot down after spending 1 hour with this game and say, please do not spend $70 on this game, because I believe that's how much this game costs. Please do not do that. If my opinion changes, I will happily come on the podcast next time when I've spent more time with the game, and I will emphatically tell you, spend $70. But I can firmly, both feet planted in the ground, looking directly in the camera and say, don't spend $70 on this game.
I don't know if there's anything that this game can do that will make me say spend $70. Like I think I'm already past the point that like maybe it could get me to say spend $20. Maybe it could get me to say spend $30. But I think it's far past the point of me saying spend. a full price game on this.
I would, with what this game has showed me so far, I would take it as a win if I came back on the show at a later date and said, yeah, I feel good about buying this game at $30 when it's on sale. Yeah. I would be thrilled if I could do that. I would be absolutely fucking biggest upset of the year if my opinion changes and if my opinion changes and say spend more than $5 on this game, which I unfortunately don't think this game is worth $5. But what I will tell you, when I see it go on clearance for sub $10, a physical copy, I will probably buy it to put it on my shelf as just a relic of joining Balan Wonderworld and Babylon's Fall and other games that I think are not great, especially because it's a licensed game that's not great. I'll probably wait for this to be very cheap and buy a physical copy to put on my shelf. Other than that,
does Daedalus make a lot of games?
I did look them up and then I stopped.
Dom, do we make a night where we play E.T. and then Superman 64 and then Gollum?
Sounds like a great fucking stream to me. Sounds like a fantastic stream. You probably should do that.
I probably should do that.
Again, I take some weird enjoyment out of like Babylon's Fall. Sorry, Balan Wonderworld is a fucking bad game, and I don't recommend people play I don't recommend people play Balan Wonderworld. But I feel like it gives me a certain appreciation for good games, having played what is, I would argue, one of the worst games I have ever played. But I think what is going to give Balan Wonderworld like the slight edge over Gollum currently is that I feel like Balan
could do things.
Was but I also just feel like Balan Wonderworld had ideas and it was trying to do something. I don't know what Gollum is trying to do right now. Will that change with more time? Maybe. Do I expect it to? Not really.
I don't want to sound...
I don't really know any of these games that
okay.
Daedalus has made.
I think I said this before we started recording.
Daedalus, sorry. I said Daedalus.
Okay. I thought it was Daedalus. I think I said this before we started recording, and I don't want to like throw any of the developers of this game under the bus. But Gollum feels like it was a college programmer like starter course game, like let's make our first video game. Mm-hmm. It's not visually impressive. It doesn't do anything mechanically that like any other game doesn't do. It doesn't hit a threshold that most games meet for like movement mechanics.
Yeah, it is definitely a very low, unfortunate bar that it has kind of put itself at. It's especially I don't know if this game has Xbox One, PS4 versions, or if this is just.
I believe it does. I believe it does.
Because I was gonna say if this was just a next gen game, like it's definitely not taking advantage of anything. That really kind of exists in the current generation. But yeah, I mean, again, I'm in the camp of like I don't love to talk. I don't want to pile on a game. I think it's important for us to say like our real experience with the game, so that other people listening who enjoy us, like our opinions, trust our opinions, understand that we're not just like only talking about things we enjoy. Like I think it's very important to point out things that are not great or do something wrong or don't hit the right way, and this is definitely one of those scenarios. But I don't know.
I'm trying to be fair to the developers. Yeah. Like I said, I will play this game to the end, or at least attempt to play this game to the end.
I looked it up. I want to say I think it said it's 20 hours to finish this game. I don't know if I can do 20 hours of this game, but I will definitely put in some more time at some point. I don't know when. And I will give this game a fair chance to. I feel like the bare minimum, at least another hour or two would give me like a real fair chance. Maybe a couple more after that if I'm feeling fucking risky. But couple hours in, if it's not doing something, then I think we have come to the point. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm a couple hours in, and my stance right now is that the game sucks.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I don't know if I have better words. Like, the game just sucks. Like, it doesn't do anything.
It is bad. It is unfortunately very bad, and it's not fun to say those words. But I think that will end our conversation about Gollum, and I think it'll push us talking about the state of PlayStation or whatever the fuck their directs are called.
Oh,
PlayStation
right.
Showcase. We can talk about it next time when Todd's here, or whatever.
When's the Xbox one?
June 11th, the day after our 12-hour charity stream. So that'll actually probably line up because next week we're doing the movie.
Yeah,
so we'll just end up
we'll do PlayStation and Xbox together.
We'll just do all of that and whatever else happens at Summer Games Fest, and we'll just kind of chat all about that then. So that works out. Cool. Well, before we get into tonight's leaderboard and game answer unlocked, we will plug all the outro stuff. So if you like the nonsense that we do and like to support us or want to support us, there's a bunch of ways you can do that, and we'd appreciate if you could do that. The easiest way to do that and the freest way to do that is to follow us on social media at PassController, follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/PassController, share us on social media, share the show with a friend, and leave us a review wherever you listen to the show. If you listen to us on, YouTube later, drop us a comment, drop us a subscription on there, drop us, all those lovely things, a like, show some love on the stuff over on YouTube. If you listen to us on a podcast feed, wherever that is, drop us a nice 5-star review. Even if you, don't have the time to drop a couple of nice words, just hit that 5-star button. Give us a nice review. That stuff goes a long way. It really does help bump up the show for other people to discover it. So we'd appreciate it if you do that. If you have a few bucks kicking around and you want to help support the show, you can do that by going to passthecontroller.threadless.com, getting some sick swag. You can go to passthecontroller, patreon.com/passthecontroller and become a patron. And you can subscribe to us on Twitch. And if you have Amazon Prime and you don't use that Prime subscription every month, you could throw it our way, but you should definitely throw it to some creator every month, because you do get a free Prime subscription every month if you have Amazon Prime, and that money just goes back into Jeff Bezos's pockets if you don't hit that button. So give somebody that subscription, whether it be us or another creator that you follow and enjoy. I think the only other thing would be to just follow all these clowns. You can follow Dom at PTC_OneLittleSpark. You can follow Mike at _MichaelPath. You can follow me at PGroom. Without further ado, we come to the end of the show where we play a different rotating game. This week we are playing Answer Unlocked yet again, because that is just the favorite at the moment. Todd, not here unless he sneaks in at some point, is in the lead with 25 points. So that gives Dom, who's in second with 23, and Mike in third with 19, a chance to come in and gain some ground on the current holder of the title. The way Answer Unlocked worked, if this is your first time listening to the show, I'm going to read the description and title of achievements/trophies, and whoever gets the game first gets the points. Game number 1, Height of Despair. Use strike from above while at least 60 feet above your target.
What is Arkham City?
Incorrect. You will obey. Make a blank yours. Black Celebration. Poison a captain at his own feast. Memories of blank. Activate all forge towers. Jaws of Death. Attract blank with bait 5 times. The Bright Master. The description is just all caps, secret. I don't know. Fly, you fools. Make 20 blank flee by dropping blank fly nests. Iron of Death. Issue a death threat and then successfully kill the target.
Is it Shadow of Mordor?
It is indeed Shadows of Mordor. I debated changing this after we talked about it for so long, but I was like, I feel like there's enough achievements here that we could mess around. There are a lot that are very like.
You said
This
"Fly, you fools," and I was like, "There's no way it's actually a Lord of the
Oh,
Rings
Lord of
game."
the-
Is
yeah, I
it?
figured it was just like a game referencing Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Game number 2. Wrong way. That's not right. Altitude is attitude. Exploration off the ground. It's stuck. Prepare a dry landing. Urban exploration involves heavy lifting. Alone in the dark. Beneath the blank. Climbing the cog. Don't pull the lever just because you can. Todd is going to be so mad he's not here for this. I really thought he was going to fucking show up for these. Backtracking. Ride the crates.
What is Uncharted?
Incorrect.
Nah, my bad. Yes.
BioShock?
Incorrect. Guided by sparks. The crate is key. Underground. Vertical passageway.
BioShock 2.
Incorrect.
There are more of them. I'm not going to go for it.
Going up. It's not a BioShock game. Going up. Don't let gravity keep you down. Where credit is due. Perseverance has its own reward. No point in dying. Complete the game in one sitting with 5 or less deaths. Ding! Running off will get you nowhere.
What is Sifu?
Incorrect. That's all of them. That's all, folks.
Wow.
Let's see. This 2010 game originally released on the Xbox 360. And I don't think I knew this part. It was originally published by Microsoft Game Studios. It is everywhere, but it was apparently originally published by Xbox Game Studios. It has a 9 out of 10 on Steam, a 4.5 out of 5 on Google Play, a 9 out of 10 on IGN.
Okay. 2010.
You can now play this game on Steam, Epic Games, PS4, iOS, Mac App Store, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, Origin, GOG, Green Man Gaming, Google Play, Humble Store, and Fanatical.
Assassin's Creed.
Incorrect. Giant Bomb said, this game is a masterpiece. The Escapist said, I almost said the name of the game. Blank is genius. Freaky, weird genius, disturbing, uncomfortable genius.
Is it Inside?
Incorrect.
Is it Limbo?
It is indeed Limbo.
That's why I was trying to debate which one to say first. I didn't want Mike to jump it.
That's why I said Todd's gonna be pissed he was not here. That ties Todd and Dom in first place and brings us to game number 3, the final game of the evening. Welcome back. Well, that could have gone better. Also, a lot worse. What? Huh. Okay then. Here's an additional hint. I played this game on Switch, so I didn't get to see these, and these are fucking amazing. The end. Oh no. Oh no.
That sounds familiar.
Changing of the seasons. Shorter days, longer nights. Echoes. Ghosts. Best available friend. Proximity counts. Let's be legends. Long after we're gone, the kids will still talk about it. He's from somewhere, and it's here, and there's a trampoline. Horror show. Everything sucks forever, says 15-year-old horror aficionado and train tracks lurker blank blank. Mother of vermin. Feed them once.
Is it
in the
Donut
universe.
County?
Incorrect. I played Donut County at Xbox.
I put it on Switch.
Mm-hmm.
I played it on my computer.
I don't know if Mike has played this. I feel like Dom and Todd both have.
I feel like I know the achievements, which is why I'm trying to decide a game that I thought you played on Switch.
It is possible that, because like Switch, sometimes certain games will just have like in-game achievements, so it's possible that these do pop up on the Switch. I just don't remember them. Miracle Rats. Hope Springs, rats multiply. Dusk Stargazer. That sounds like someone's name if they could themselves. That sounds like someone's name if they could name themselves at age 10. Demon Power. You have ascended the demon's tower. Pale Cat. Stop the bleeding. At the end of everything. Well, that was weird. Hold on to anything. Again, that was weird. Make it last. As long as it will. Thry word tins. Spooky magic or something. Who knows? Bass Ackwards. It's just 4 strings. How hard could it possibly be? Oh, bass Ackwards. Whoops.
Yeah, I got it.
Well, I just thought that was part of the joke of the thing, but no, you just maybe misread
I'm just
it.
an idiot, yeah. Maestro. 4 strings and the spite to use them. Jenny's Field. Everything feels bigger and smaller.
It's not After Party, right?
It is not After Party. Incorrect.
And it's not Artful Escape.
Incorrect. It is not Artful Escape. The Tooth. No Bobs, no Masters. Rabies. All hail rabies. Krusty. Those had someone else's mouth germs on them. I will say you were on the right track in being, it is an indie game.
Yeah, I got that.
Krusty. Those had someone else's mouth germs on them. I think I just read
Is it A Night in the Woods?
It is indeed A Night in the Woods. Dom gets the sweepy sweep. Do you know that game, Mike?
No.
Oh, okay. I figured you would
I
have
mean,
at least
I don't
known the game.
I don't think so. I mean, was it called A Night in the Woods?
Night in the Woods, yeah. So initially, because we were going to talk about the PlayStation Showcase, those developers have a sequel that was shown off there called Revenant Hills, I think.
Is it a sequel?
So I'm sorry, I misspoke. It is not a sequel. It's just a new game.
They show characters from.
So the character designs look like Night in the Woods. Like the main character is a cat.
I think they showed the characters from A Night in the Woods as they were panning. I thought they were just going through their games, though.
Maybe they are, though. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't think it's a sequel, though. But maybe there's references to Night in the Woods in there. But I mean, the main character's cat looks like the cat from Night in the Woods. So I forget what the character's name is. It's the main character of the game. Are you familiar with that game, Mike, or no?
No, I think maybe I recognize the character just because I saw the PlayStation State of Play, and I think I did see those things, but I don't know the game.
I mean, Night in the Woods, like some people, it's like they're one of their favorite games. it didn't hit me in that way, but I do appreciate the game. I think it's a good game. I think you'd probably enjoy it, Mike. It's pretty good. You played it, Dom, right?
I have not played. I started it, but never like got into it.
I could have sworn you at least. Yeah, maybe that's what it was. I knew you started it, but I think Todd also has started it. But I picked it because of the PlayStation Showcase. So there's that. That puts Dom in the lead. Todd's gonna be fucking pissed, but you know what? That's what happens. That's what happens. That'll end the week with Dom at 26, Todd at 25, Mike at 19. That has been our show, episode 371. Do all the lovely things, and we'll see you soon.